Okay, as I said before, we want it to be aggressive and we always want to try and press high if we can. We've got to recognise Sheffield United's threats as well, and the way their outside centre-backs play, they can be really high and wide at times as well. And if we just went with a flat two strikers, which we would normally do against a back three, then they'd probably find it quite easy to be able to get out, step in, overload us. And that might mean Carlton Morris or Eli are end up tracking an outside centre-back all the way back and deep and taking them away from where their main threat is in the middle of the pitch. So that's one thing to think about. If we start spreading too much in terms of our two centre forwards as well, and they switch it a couple of times, it could start freeing up Norwood as well, who's a big threat for them. And if he starts getting turned and he's facing forward, then they've got coming and going. You know, McBurney might drop and you've got Ndai running, and it's starting to, you know, it's going to cause a lot of problems. So we wanted to try and stop the outside centre backs, but we needed to make sure we stopped Norwood as well, which was really key. So the way we did that, we thought, what we tried to do for the majority of the time, and a lot, especially in the first half, we did it well, was drop one of our strikers, normally Eli, around Norwood, and try to get Carlton Morris more on their middle centre back, Egan. And then if it did go to an outside centre back, because that would be the pass that we'd be showing, that would then be one of our eights' jobs to try and do that, and then cut off any pass that would come inside. So we're trying to cut off anything inside, try and make it more predictable, and make it go wing back to wing back. And then obviously we've got outside centre back against a striker. Nakamba then would come over and try and close that space to block any pass, you know, forward into a striker, but also take care of that midfielder, whether it's Fleck or Berg that's in this position as well. And obviously we try and close opposite side of the pitch, so everyone over and everyone around. Making sure we're compact and tight and trying to keep them one side of the pitch. But this then would try and stop the switch of play, because Carlton Morris would still be able to be around Egan, of the striker now stopping Norwood getting on the ball as much as possible. It allowed us to be aggressive still, pressing the outsides of the pitch, but then also keeping our two strikers more central for if we do win the ball back and we nick it, or, you know, if we win it back even deeper. If an outside centre back stepped in at all a little bit more, then we've got strikers who are able to give us a first pass on transition as well. So I think that was really key, and it was something that we worked fairly well. Didn't happen all the time. It wasn't perfect, and if a striker was nearer to an outside centre back, he was a little bit deeper, and the 8 was going to have to run back. We didn't want an 8 running past the striker, because there's no point. If the 9's closest, then an 8 might have to just recognise that and make sure we bounced off so that we did stop Norwood. But that was what we tried to do. So rather than our strikers being flat like this against their 3, because their 3 were wider and more spread, and because we wanted to try and stop Norwood, almost a 9 and 10 out of possession, and 8s pressing at the right moment, trying to cut the inside pass off and keep it one side. And that was something that in the main, especially in the first half, worked relatively well.